Has this ever happened to you? Oh, piss off. Have you ever stopped to wonder, what the hell is actually happening here? Who is this guy? What the hell is his problem? And when you stab it with a sword, why does it barely do any damage? The Broodoo victims of Taibo One-Eye Village are one of the strangest NPCs in the game. They were added to RuneScape over 20 years ago, making them older than at least some of the people watching this video. They were added with Taibo One-Eye Cleanup, and even if you've never actually played that minigame in your life, and God, I can't blame you if you haven't, you've almost certainly gotten slapped by one of these weirdos at one point in your life while innocently minding your own business. When chopping away the overgrown jungle as a part of Taibo One-Eye Cleanup, there's a small chance that you'll unearth one of these three guys, and if you run away, they will stand there, aggressively attacking anyone who comes within range for nearly a full hour. They are the only NPC in the game that functions like this. They can hit up to 7 at a very long range. If you can see a Broodoo victim, they can probably hit you, alongside rooting you in place and draining your stats, making them surprisingly dangerous if you're a low level. This is confirmed to have killed at least one hardcore Iron Man, which is, of course, hilarious. But the weird shit doesn't stop there. As a matter of fact, it's barely even started. If you take offense to this strangely colored man accosting you in the jungle, and then very reasonably decide to beat him to death, you'll notice another incredibly unique quirk of the Broodoo victims. They take heavily reduced damage from every single weapon and spell in the game. But they do have a particular, very strange weakness. Every color of Broodoo victim takes a bunch of damage if you feed them a particular item. Green Broodoo victims take damage from potions that cure poison. White Broodoo victims take damage from food, and yellow Broodoo victims take damage from potions that cure disease. And let me be clear here, you're not splashing the potions on them, you are feeding these items to them, which then kills them. What the fuck is going on here? Was the JMod who made these enemies just feeling a bit quirky that day, or is there a story here? I went straight to the source of all knowledge, the old school RuneScape wiki, and there I found nothing. So I said, okay, RuneScape 3 shares a lot of lore with old school, I bet they've had a closer look in that game. So I went to the RuneScape 3 wiki and I found nothing. All either of these wikis have on these weirdos is their examine text. An undead victim of some ancient murderous ritual. And okay, that's a starting point, they're weird magic zombies, but there's gotta be more here. I went to the other main source of truth, Mod Ash's Twitter, and he had this to say about Broodoo victims. Looks like vegetables and fruit have the highest damage range for food. I think the dev was a vegetarian. Yeah, that doesn't help. At this point, I knew basically nothing concrete about Broodoo victims, and yet the design was so specific, so intentional. Someone made these NPCs and coded them to work like this on purpose. It was hinting at something, I just had to find it. Having given up on the wiki, I started to go a bit mad. I ran around Taibo One-Eye and started talking to every NPC. For some strange reason, everyone in Taibo One-Eye has a shitload of dialogue options, and I knew the answer was in there somewhere. And as it turns out, it was. If you find me too vague, go and have a chat with Shiramika about it. Who the fuck is Shiramika? It's a great question, me from several hours ago. Shiramika is one of the village elders of Taibo One-Eye, and his special little role is that he warns you about the dangers of the village. And he tells you the only actual Broodoo victim lore in the entire game. And it explains everything. Yes, Bwana, and this is serious. The jungle is very ancient and many unspeakable acts have been witnessed on these lands. Bizarre supernatural curses were placed on criminals and then they were buried alive. These strange creatures have the curse of the Broodoo on them. They'll rise from their grave with their heads in their chests and move like crazed spirits of the afterlife. If they're disturbed, they will attack anything in the area with their magical abilities. They suffer little from being attacked as they seem to be protected by some form of defense. However, it's said that the means of their death provides the clue to their destruction. So far, 3 distinct Broodoo have been identified. The Broodoo with a green-hued skin is said to have died from poison. There is a Broodoo of yellow hue and a pale-skinned Broodoo, but little is known of these two. And just like that, with one little conversation, the mystery of the Broodoo victims is blown wide open. They pop out of the ground when you're cutting the jungle because they were buried alive there. They're powered and protected by a special magic curse that is only broken by feeding them the cure to what killed them in the first place. The Greed Broodoo victim died to poison. Anti-poison destroys his reanimated form. The White Broodoo victim then surely starved to death since food kills him. And finally, the Yellow Broodoo victim clearly died of disease, with cures to that disease freeing his trapped soul. And that's when it hits. You aren't killing these zombies, you're purifying them and breaking the curse. And when you do so, you're rewarded with their mask, which you can craft into a weird prayer shield or use for its intended purpose, which is scaring the shit out of the residents of Taibo One Eye because they think an ancient cursed zombie is in their fucking house.